In recent years, Lockman, the producers of the NASB, have been really coming out with a lot of wonderful editions of the NASB translation. So NASB fans have a lot to be happy about. And I'm going to continue with that theme in this video, talking now about an edition they just came out with called the Reader's Bible. So this Reader's Bible here, it's something other publishers have done as well, where you're going to see a Bible that's formatted more for reading. A lot of our Bibles, they're more focused on being able to find the references. This is more focused on the reading experience. The one that they sent me is the olive linen hardcover. They do have some other cover options as well. So a hardcover is a wonderful option. It's very beautiful. It's also very easy to hold, very sturdy. And for a reader's Bible, in some ways you could say it's ideal to have a hardcover. A lot of people might feel that way. You see the features that are listed out here. This, of course, has a lot of things you'll see in other Bibles. It is Smyth sewn. The construction of this is very nice. It's a pretty affordable Bible. And again, this is about the reading experience. So let's see what they've done with this. So it's a nice cover with that linen feel to the cover, and it is a hard cover. Nice printing on the spine. You do get the two, these are angle cut ribbons. They look very nice. You have a black one and a green ribbon. Now, I did notice here, it looks like this black one is a double-sided. The green one, to me, it looks like the sheen is only on one side. So that's kind of interesting. And I think if they do an update of this, that might just have been an oversight, but maybe make the ribbons both double-sided there. However, that's very minor. Just something I thought I'd point out. Very minor. But in terms of the construction and look of this, hardcovers usually don't have gold page edges. Sometimes they do. Often they don't. Paper paste down inside here. You still get a presentation page and the marriage and all of that. So that's interesting. They kept all those family record pages, even though this is a reader. But you do have that. Then you have the title page. And you're already starting to see here just kind of the unique look to this. Different than a lot of their other editions in terms of the print, the style of the typeset and the printing. This is printed in Korea 2025. So as I'm recording this is a new edition. You see the table of contents here. And then you have the forward to the NASB. So really a lot of the same features you get in other Bibles. It's really once you get in to the biblical text, you see the reader format. So this is going to be a single column format, verse numbers on the inside columns inside of the book. So when we get to the next page, you'll see that the verse numbers are on the right-hand side of the left page, the left-hand side of the right page. They're the inside column verse numbers there. And what that does is it allows you to find the verse if you need to, but the verses are not necessarily, the verse numbers are not necessarily right next to where the verse starts. They're just on the same line. So I'm assuming, for example, verse 12 actually starts with the word the, even though they have the 12 here. So you can find the verse number. It just takes a little bit more effort, but it's not really about having those verse numbers right in the exact spot. It's about reading through the Bible in an undistracted manner. Now, one of the interesting things about this is you will see poetry, like right here in poetic setting, and in this case, it's single column format. But when you get into the longer poetry sections, so, poetic books like Job, Psalms, you're going to see that it's now a double column format for poetry. And that, I believe, is just simply to save space. It takes up a lot of space to have extensive poetry in a single column format. I do wish deep down that they had been able to pull this off with single column poetry. But as you're reading through this, it still reads very nicely. It's very easy to read. It's easy on the eyes, flows very nicely. And again, they've got the verse numbers separated. Another reviewer even pointed out that they really liked kind of the uniqueness of how these verse numbers are done here in the poetry. And it is really unique, and it has a kind of a interesting look to it. And I think it will appeal to a lot of people. This was, I believe, typeset by 2K Denmark. Wonderful Bible typesetters. You see more extensive poetry in the book of Isaiah here, that it's also in double column format. What I like is, even though it's not always consistent, how they format it, I think even here they have double column for prose. But I like that they were kind of logical about how it's going to look on the page. I feel like there's a Bible out there that was put out in the Passaggio setting by one of the other publishers. And I liked the idea of it, but sometimes the way they went back and forth, they were almost too consistent. And so on the page, you'd have single column, double column, back to single column, and it could just be jolting, even though that's why they called it Passaggio, because it had to do with transitioning from one format to the other. I like how they just said, you know what, even if it's not consistent, sometimes poetry is single column, sometimes prose is double column, but it has to do with the overall text. That's what I'm seeing here. They were just saying, what's going to be the best reader experience as you're reading through the Bible without making the Bible too thick. So again, that's why the poetry, from what I would highly, if I had to take an educated guess, it would be poetry is in double column to save space. And what you get with save space is you're able to get a little bit thicker paper rather than a Bible with even more pages and thinner paper, or just a really hefty Bible. So in the New Testament here, you see it's a black letter text for the words of Christ. The font in this, I'm guessing, is kind of related or even inspired by the font that 2K Denmark did for the NASB for Thomas Nelson, which I believe was based on limestone from the Aramaic texts. From what I remember, that's what inspired the print for the comfort print that you get in the Zondervan NASBs. This has some similarities to that. Maybe I'm wrong, but if someone from 2K Denmark wants to verify that, that would be great to see that in the comments. At the end of the Bible here, by the way, you do actually have a set of maps. So just really interesting what they included with this, even though it's a reader's Bible. In my opinion, they didn't need to include some of that extra stuff at the front and the back, but why not? I think they still kept the Bible very affordable and the size very manageable. So really, if you're looking for a beautiful, nicely printed, easy on the eyes reader, this is a great option now in the NASB. I want to quickly compare it, though, to just an example. I don't have a lot of readers, so I don't even have another one to compare, but I did want to show you the CSB single column personal size, because I do think it's possible to have a Bible that's manageable and still get single column poetry. I know the ESV reader does that. So, again, deep down, I would have liked the poetry to have been single column. If they have a way of adjusting that in the future, maybe that can happen. But that's really kind of a minor issue when all is said and done, because I would say the paper in this is better than this. This is even, I would guess, thinner paper, not as opaque as what we're seeing here in the Lockman Bible. So when all is said and done, the choices they made end up really being good on the whole. And I think people are going to be happy if they're looking for a reader Bible in the NASB. So thank you for taking a look at this with me. If you have any questions or comments about this Bible, I'd love to see that in the comments section below. But thanks so much for taking a look at this Bible with me from a first perspective.